What is going on, Jet fans? Matt O'Leary back with another video. The New York Jets meet with a top offensive line prospect, and an NFL draft expert has a bold prediction for the New York Jets with a new 3-round mock draft. Let's start with the New York Jets having a top 30 visit with Arante Ursary, offensive tackle out of Minnesota. So he played exclusively left tackle. I shouldn't say exclusively. That's a little bit too literal. There were like maybe a combined 10 snaps at other positions over the course of his career, but he played a significant amount of time at left tackle during his 3 years at Minnesota. This past year allowed just 1 sack and 12 pressures in 12 games played. Really interesting prospect. So 6'6", 331 pounds, has short arms and a wingspan that's a little bit on the shorter side. But his athleticism is very good, 91st percentile in 40 time. Just a really good athlete overall. So the pros from his game: really good in the run game, really good run blocker, powerful arms and hands as a blocker, really noticeable as a run blocker. Made Bruce Feldman's freak list due to his size and just complete, athletic ability and how much weight he can lift. That's kind of like the Feldman list is like, who are the freak athletes of this draft? And this is definitely someone who makes this list. Now, on the con side, I think he can play a little bit maybe too tall, like too upright, get a bit over aggressive, which causes him to lunge or reach a little bit in pass protection. But these are nitpicky things. This is an option for the Jets in round 2 on the offensive line. We've spent a ton of time talking about Armand Membu for the New York Jets in the first round. But if someone like this is there for them in round 2, in Ursary, or if you have someone like Josh Connerly from Oregon in the second round that you could snag, that opens things up a little bit for you more in the first round to attack a different position of need. Maybe you want to take a pass catcher at that point. Maybe you want to take an interior defensive lineman, and if Mason Graham is there, or just go a completely other direction. But this is someone the Jets clearly are interested in, and I think he would be someone who you draft and move over to the right side of the line. And I think he would win the starting job out of training camp. I don't think he's someone who will have to be a backup to start his career and then eventually move into a starter role. I think he's someone who can play right away. Again, there's no guarantees, especially when you get out of the top. Well, it's easier to project the top 7 picks than it is the 41 picks before the Jets pick again at pick number 42. But if available at the top of round 2 for the Jets at pick 42, would make a ton of sense for them to grab. So I like that the Jets are doing their due diligence on this player, and someone that I would keep a close eye on. The second thing that I wanted to get into was a Connor Rogers mock draft. We know him from Badlands. He's from the NFL Stock Exchange and also works for NBC. In his most recent mock draft for NBC, 3 rounds for each team. Here's what he had the Jets doing in the first 3 rounds, which I found interesting. Tyler Warren at pick 7, love that. Tyleik Williams, interior defensive lineman in the 2nd round, and Tate Ratledge, offensive guard in the 3rd round. I think the first 2 guys we've spent a lot of time talking about. Tyler Warren is a very popular selection for the Jets. I'd be excited about adding Tyler Warren to this offense. Tyleik Williams, just a beast of a run stuffer. You put him next to Quinnen Williams, and the Williams duo on the interior defensive line would go a really long way to improving this run defense. The interesting note is Tate Ratledge, who is a guard. So in this scenario, he has Elijah Vera-Tucker moving back to right tackle and Ratledge starting at guard. I don't know if this is something the Jets would actually do or not. I'm not saying it as like, I don't know, as in I don't think they will. It's I genuinely don't know, because looking at what happened with Robert Saleh, they played him all over the line. They played him at left guard. Well, no, left guard. I'm sorry. His first year was technically, no, that was Saleh. Forgive me. I thought it was Adam Gase. It wasn't. But anyway, left guard, right tackle, left tackle. And then finally in year 3, they settle him into right guard. And I thought he had a pretty good season. But we have no idea if Darren Muji and Aaron Glenn want Elijah Vera-Tucker to be playing guard or tackle going into the final year of his contract. What do you look to do with Elijah Vera-Tucker? Again, like, is he a guard or is he a tackle? He has the flexibility to do both. He got hurt a couple times at right tackle, and I know that really scares some people off from him playing that position. but I think you have to leave it up to how Muji and Glenn evaluate this roster and what they think the best course of action is. In this scenario, you don't have to use a top 2-round pick on an offensive lineman because you're not trying to find a tackle, you're trying to find a guard. And finding a mid-round guard who can play for you on day one is easier than finding a mid-round tackle. I just think it's interesting. I'm not necessarily advocating for the Jets to move Elijah Vera Tucker to right tackle. We'll see, I guess, after the NFL draft and into training camp what the Jets decide to do on the offensive line moving forward. But this is a different kind of approach where I think in the first 3 rounds, you're looking at 3 starters. Warren, absolutely a starter. Tyleik Williams, absolutely a starter. And Ratledge would be a starter from day one on the interior as well. And you have the backup plan from signing Myers, who is the center in Green Bay for 3 years or 4 years in a row this offseason as interior offensive line depth, if for whatever reason Ratledge wasn't ready to start out of the gate. But this is a player who probably will play earlier than having to sit around and wait before they're a starter at the next level. So anyway, let me know what you think on both of these subjects down below in the comments. I'm Matt O'Leary. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll catch you next time.